Yes, yes, fight fans, body and mind sports, my people. You are fully appreciated in this round, my guys, my people. Let's talk Don Chales. He has been axed from Team Dubois. I would say not a total surprise to me. It seems to be normal routine for Team Dubois, what they do when Dubois faces a loss or goes through some turbulence and they need to rebuild the brand. So Don Chales more or less is a fool guy, right? Just like Martin Brewers was, right? And he was replaced by Shane McGuigan. And I think McGuigan was replaced by another trainer before Don Chales himself stepped in 2023. So this is just changing turns. It is just changing turns. It's damage control simply because you can't blame the fighter for what ensued in Dubois losing not just only once but twice to Alexander Usyk. You can't blame him if you are trying to improve the brand. You need a fall guy, and usually in Team Dubois, that fall guy has historically been the trainer, my guys, my people. So Don Chales getting sacked was absolutely inevitable. Even he himself saw the writing on the wall, as he told Radio Rahim in an interview that he was threatened by Stan Dubois that, look, you have to keep winning. The day you lose, you are out of the door. And this message was told to him face to face by Stan after Don Chales, his win with Daniel Dubois over Miller. That was their first success together. Mind you, they had already lost to Alexander Usyk in their very first venture, my guys, my people. You know, so yeah, the writing has been on the wall. He has been threatened that this could happen to you. And furthermore, Farrell, Dubois' assistant trainer, Don Chales' assistant trainer, right, in Dubois' corner, he handed in his resignation right after the Usyk rematch and the revelations that followed after that rematch. Talking about the party that Dubois was in ahead of the fight, right? See, all these things not really making the Dubois camp look great, and the media are really looking to bury Daniel Dubois right now, as well as the wider fans of the sport of boxing, right? Farrell knew that he was going to be another fall guy, so he took matters into his own hands and resigned. I'm hearing it was done in an amicable way. However, there's also rumors that there was a fallout before the exit. How true that is, I don't know. However, talking about fallouts, Don Chales, right, in the lead up, well, in fight week, AJ and Dubois, fight week, where was he at the presser? Now, they would lead us to believe that he wasn't there because he was sick from a cold, right? However, there's also rumors, right, that he hadn't been paid, and so that possibly could have been why he wasn't there. So there's always been problems indicating that it was time to lose, even way before this sacking. Even way before Dubois losing to Usyk the second time. There's always been the sign that you need to leave. You know, instead, he didn't take any of the signs seriously and decided that he would stay put and have faith that they don't get rid of him, because he would like to continue to train Daniel Dubois, my guys, my people. Well, they didn't feel the same with him. My guys, my people, because when you dig deep into the matter, and according to Spencer Ferron, they were looking to get rid of him right after that Usyk first loss, my guys. Ferron said, you know, speaking to Boxing King Media, that Stan told him he wanted to sack Don Chales after that first Usyk loss, right? But he had to tell him, hold on, wait, maybe 2 or 3 fights, then decide, because that is their first outing. You can't just decide like that abruptly. This is a well accomplished trainer, right? Now Stan's position was that Don Chales was not professional enough, and I wonder what he means by that. When you take into consideration what Don Chales has done for Dubois, for Chisora's career, has done amazing things. Only fell short of making him world champion. Got all the other straps, you name it, British, Commonwealth, European. He has it, my guys. And big fights with Chisora, Fury. With Wyatt, Fury, even David Haye, and memorable wins over Kubrat Pulev, Carlos Takam, Malik Scott, just for a bonus. You throw him in there, my guys. So this is a well accomplished trainer. So a bit of disrespect coming from Stan Dubois to call him unprofessional, my guys, my people. But look, anyway, in that particular occasion, Ferron managed to help Don keep his job, it seems, because right after that, Don did continue and get the win with Dubois over Miller, Ergovic, and AJ. Now, what a run that was, and I doubt if anyone coming after Don Chales can beat that. I really, really, really seriously doubt it, my guys, my people. Whoa, listen. The statement has been put out there by Daniel Dubois on social media, a video statement explaining why they left Don Chales. Surprisingly, in the statement, he thanks Don Chales for the first time. For the first time. Now, if that is not a disrespect or maybe just underrating your trainer, boy, either way, it is disrespect, my guys, my people. For the first time in 18 months, says Daniel Dubois, they'd been together. Now, I calculate 24 months. 24 months. So where did the other 6 months that you spent together go? You're telling me Don Chales was so bad you don't remember 6 months that you spent together? Well. Anyway, the reason why they have separated, Dubois says that they are now looking for a new approach going forward, as he's looking to become 2 times heavyweight champion, my guys, my people, and that he will be revealing the full new structure of the team in the weeks coming. But I have to say, what new approach are they looking for? As far as I'm concerned, Don has taken Dubois as far as he can, and that was to championship. You really can't do better with a limited fighter with like Daniel Dubois, let alone beat Usyk. Daniel Dubois, limited defense, so not great defense. He's wide open, no head movement, and as an athlete, just no agility at all, even though he has power and is big and he is young. But maybe Tony Sims can make improvements where Donny couldn't. Boy, that would be hard. It would be hard. It would be hard. Very, very hard. Maybe he can make those improvements. Tony Sims, who trains his fighters out of the Matchroom gym, and Daniel Dubois to join that gym, and he's a Queensbury Promotions fighter. Now, that will be weird. But Tony Sims, who also trains Conor Ben, maybe still it could be the man. It could be the solution to the problems. He is very well accomplished as well as a trainer. Has developed a lot of world champions out of his gym. Well, several anyway. And well, the main reason why I think he could work in a situation is number one, he will take no bullshit from Stan Dubois. Trust me. He will put him in his place, and if he's not looking to be in his place, then Tony Sims will be out. He will not be waiting to get the sack or hoping that they keep him in a job. This is no Don Chales, who is 64 years old and really didn't have a choice in the situation. Where else could he have gone, my guys, my people? So it's looking like he really had no other option, right? Well, but he could have saved his dignity and self-respect by just resigning, just like Kieran Farrell did, my guys. And that is the difference between Donny and Sims. Sims will be having none of it, my guys, my people. So maybe it could shape up the Dubois team, could tighten it up a little bit, you know. But they've also brought someone else in the team, and that is Sam Jones, who made both Joe Joyce and Jack Catterall's careers successes. That is difficult, particularly because those two fighters, very bland personalities, not easy to sell at all. But Sam Jones managed to do it. I think he'll be a good addition to Team Dubois, simply because he's a great talker, good PR man, and he will be handling much of the damage control that is needed to you know, rejuvenate and restore Dubois' career. And furthermore, he has been brought in as an advisor, not even a manager. So obviously they're not looking to give him much control. Stan Dubois is looking to have much of the control as to what happens with Daniel Dubois. You know, because Sam, who normally is a manager for other people, is just here designated as a an advisor. An advisor, my guys, my people, which means put up or shut up. You know, and Sam Jones is good for that. He will put up and he will shut up and get the job done, and save Stan Dubois some accountability going forward. You wouldn't have to be so accountable, putting his own neck on the chopping block, and that is what I see. But let's see what improvement Sam Jones can bring to the team going forward. As for Tony Sims, it is not official yet that he joins the team. But moving on to Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. Well, their deal with Dazn ends in 2026, my guys, my people. And this is what Eddie had to say about it. Quote, "Our plan is to extend with Dazn. They have been great partners and we're a huge part of the business. We know there will be other opportunities in different markets, but we love the relationship with Dazn, and for our global plan and events, they are the perfect partner." So he said himself, they are the perfect partner. I really can't see him going anywhere else, to tell you the truth. After building up Dazn to where it is, remember when Eddie entered Dazn, nobody wanted to touch Dazn with a barge pole. Nobody believed in their vision. Right, but now we have everybody clamoring to get into Dazn. Well, I don't see him leaving Dazn, and 2026, I can't be bothered to think about all that right now, my guys, my people. On to the next one, my guys, my people. Things not looking great. There is pressure at Boxer and Ben Shalom, my guys, my people. Ever since their split with Sky, right? We have had Joshua Boatsi leave them and gone to Queensbury Promotions and back to Dazn. And the latest, we have British Cruiserweight champion Viddal Riley declaring himself a free agent, my guys. So he's no longer signed with Boxer, and that is very weird because Viddal Riley, he signed in February of 2024 a 4-year long-term contract to stay at Boxer. Now he has not even gone close to halfway through that contract. You know, So why is he allowed to just walk out of this contract with Boxer without any legal ramifications? Now, the answer is quite easy because it has become ever so apparent, you know, that these fighters and their contract with Boxer is part and parcel with them fighting on Sky. So since Boxer and Sky are no more, it also means that the contracts are null and void. Literally, these fighters at Boxer can walk in and out of Boxer as they please, my guys, my people, as they please. In fact, Boxer is desperately trying to hold on to them. Desperately trying to hold on to as many fighters as they possibly can, because it is key to their victory. It is key to victory for them at the BBC. You know, who they now have a contract to have their fights aired on free-to-air TV, including the BBC iPlayer, to be aired globally, my guys, my people. So that is the position that Boxer is at right now. They really can't afford to lose any more fighters. But the sad truth is that it's looking very likely that they might lose even more, right? Because Viddal Riley, he is signed to 258 Management. That is AJ's management company. So speculations are that he may well join Matchroom Promotions. That would be his very next step. But also worrying is that Ben Whittaker might follow, because Ben Whittaker is also signed to 258, my guys, my people. Even worrying, Adam Azim, another promising prospect, might go to Queensberry Promotions. So yeah, what to keep the fighters at Boxer is not very strong. The incentives are not very strong. The deal at the BBC does not suit everybody. You know, for one, there isn't a budget big enough to put on big shows and to keep every fighter, and you know, and to satisfy their demands, right? Other than that, the deal they have with the BBC only allows them to air 4 shows a year. Now, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to recognize that although Boxer has a small stable and a crumbling one, seemingly, right, 4 shows a year is still not enough to cover the entire roster. Boxer's roster right now, a lot of young talented fighters, future stars, right, seemingly, that need to be active. I'm talking about 2, 3, or even 4 fights a year for these fighters. So yeah, how are they going to do that with just 4 shows a year? It's just not possible. You know, but the show must go on. Ben Shalom must try to stay alive, my guys, my people. He does have a show under this BBC deal. Come September, we have the British heavyweight title on the line for Jamie TKV and Fraser Clark. Let's see what Boxer and Shalom can make of this situation, because losing Viddal Riley, it's not a great look. Viddal Riley with a great social media presence, his you know, connection with Misfits, and as trainer of KSI, he has put together a huge social media following that can be turned into financial rewards later, my guys, my people. But look, losing Viddal Riley, that's a sad one. But it's not looking great for Boxer. Let me just tell you straight. Anyway, let's move forward. Decision time at 154 pounds. We have Erickson, the Hammer, Lubin, mandatory under the IBF. So IBF mandatory. The IBF champion is, of course, Bakram Matazalia, who got that title after defeating Jack Colkay, and since managed to defend it once against former WBO champion Tim Tszyu, who he totally obliterated in 3 rounds, dropping him multiple times before the actual stoppage. But the fashion in which he won that fight has now officially stamped him a boogeyman. Nobody wants to fight him, despite that he is a champion. He represents high risk, low reward, my guys, my people. But his mandatory challenger, Erickson Lubin, wants to fight him, and Bakran is hoping that is what happens. But Lubin does not have to fight Bakran, because Virgil Ortiz, the WBC interim champion and mandatory to Fundora, right, has an offer on the table to fight Lubin, and Ortiz is the more lucrative fight, my guys, my people. So what would you do in Lubin's situation? Well, I will weigh out the situation, right? I will look at it like this. Lubin is 29 years old, has been in the game for a long time, it feels like, my guys, because he started really early as a promising prospect, and early on in his career he got the title shot against Jamel Charlo and got stopped in just 1 round, my guys. And then he got the WBC interim title shot in 2022 against Sebastian Fundora and got a full house beating that left his face looking like the Elephant Man after he got stopped in 9 rounds. So if I was Lubin, I wouldn't want that to happen to me again. So most definitely I would go for the win-win fight, the money fight, because at least if you lose, you still get the money. You go for the legacy fight in Bakram Matazalia. If you lose and you're there all by yourself, my guys, my people. So yeah, I think it goes for Ortiz, and if that happens, we may get this fight on the 18th of October, my guys, my people. Now, before Lubin, Ortiz was targeting the current WBO champion in Xander Zayas, who is 22 years old, I believe, or 23 years old, right? So does not have the experience of Ortiz, not even at 154. He's not even as battle tested as Ortiz at 154, who has beaten the very dangerous Sergey Bohochuk and beaten former WBA champion in Israel Matchroom, the best win of Ortiz's career so far. So yeah, that fight is not going to happen. Ortiz and Xander Zayas, top ranked, are not really keen on that fight, but it would have been a great fight nonetheless, my guys, my people. Xander Zayas is super talented. I think it would have been a super competitive fight, but we're not getting it, my guys, my people. Now, Jerome Bruce Ennis, he is under some major fire from fans. We were hoping his first fight at 154 would be against the man Ortiz himself. However, we are not going to get that. He is settling for a tune-up fight against Wisma Lima, the IBO champion, my guys, my people, and it is being targeted for the 11th of October at the Wells Fargo Center in Philly, my guys, my people. I don't know nothing about Lima except that he's a rough, rugged fighter and top 10 ranked, my guys, my people. So maybe he is as good as what people say, but I'm too tired to argue as to whether Ennis should have taken a tune-up fight or not, when his tune-up fight is evidently better than the tune-up fights that Ortiz got when he jumped up. So let's leave Ennis alone, my guys, my people. In 2026, hopefully we get the Ortiz fight, my guys, early 2026. Look, Wisma Lima and Ennis billed as a WBA eliminator, so the winner stands to fight for the WBA strap. That is if, of course, Crawford vacates, right? But if he vacates, doesn't Ennis Tellez get elevated to full championship, he is the WBA interim, you know. So I don't know what's happening there, my guys, my people. Anyway, let's move forward to Sebastian Fundora, WBC champion against Keith Thurman. Dear Lord. A full house beating is going to ensue. That is all I'm going to say about that. Keith Thurman has not been active for how long? And only got a decent win over a blown up 154 pounder in Brock Jarvis. Stopped him in just 3 rounds. But other than that, he gets obliterated, even though he's not been stopped. So let me just leave that one there. And I think that's it for this one, right? So yeah, before you leave, do like, do share, subscribe. Of course, drop your comments below, my guys, my people. And as always, stay super blessed, and thanks for watching, my guys, my people. Until the next one.